Hey, what's up? What's up? This is April TCG. What's up, my TCG fam? We are in the house. I haven't been in the house for a while because I've been outside. That's right. I've been outside having fun and making money. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. But what's up? What's up, everybody? What's up, my TCG fam? Love you. You're my family. Love you. Miss you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Okay, so um, we are here to talk about. We're not going to even talk about it because I think we've talked about it enough. We've talked about the Fannie Willis and how she was busted and how she tried to deny and how she didn't take accountability and how she tried to put Young Thug away and didn't have the proper evidence, which is what they do in the state of Georgia. And they've been doing it for a long time. And yeah, it just so happens that Young Thug's trial went national, so everything was put on blast as to how the state of Georgia works. That's how they work. Yeah. What you saw in that courtroom is how corrupt this government is here in Georgia. So, remember I told y'all a few weeks, the last time I was on live actually, I said I was giving applause to Georgia for um, looking into the Rice Street jail and finally pointing fingers at the sheriff basically for the the what is it, the conditions. Even now, how long have that place been in that condition? Forever. But it's forever. Just but let me turn this. It's just all right. So they finally, we got to give a hand when when the time is right, when they do just a little bit. We got to give a hand, give them some credit, because that's, that's just you take little by little, it takes, baby steps, and then they're going to get better and better, and they're going to be holding people accountable like they did with Fannie Willis. They held her Fannie accountable. And what's next? We don't know, because remember Ashley Merchant, and I'm going over a lot. I hope that everybody has been following this. I'm just going to run down just a little, just in case some people may not have been paying attention. Okay, the past 2 years. So, Fannie Willis hired Nathan Wade as her lead attorney for when she was prosecuting Trump for the election case. Remember? Okay. Nathan Wade turns out to be her boyfriend. Okay. So, Nathan Wade turns out to be her boyfriend. And they were spending all this money going on these lavish trips and all this stuff like that. Fannie, first, she tried to deny the whole thing. Then she was pretending like, oh, it's okay to have an affair with this man, and I'm not going to emasculate this man. And, she went to a church, and she was like, because Ashley Merchant was trying to have her removed from the case, or Trump was. So she went to a church, a black church, as Trump says, and I know that was a bad rendition, but she went to a church. She was on there. The media was there. She was like, it's because of my race. As if it's quite all right for somebody to have an affair with the lead attorney that she hired, just so happened to have hired for the Trump case. So that was that. And then moving forward, there was the little hearing on the affair and all this stuff. It's a lot, guys. It's a lot if you haven't been following it. But pretty much Ashley requested some open records. She wants to know who hired who was working for who, everything that DA Fannie Willis been doing. Because of course, when somebody does something just a little crooked, they probably have done some big crooked things, right? Okay. So her people, just like any place in Georgia, just how they are, the clique, you in the clique, you in the clique. Okay. So her little clique, okay, they was refusing to give Ashley Merchant the stuff that they were requesting. She had NDEs that she had her employees sign and all this stuff. The funny thing is that the people that came forward to Ashley saying, snitching, the snitches actually, a lot of, from what I understand, they were ex-employees. So you just got to be careful. Don't be doing people wrong. Nobody is perfect, number one. But watch how you treat people because, man, all those ex-employees came out snitching, right? They just came out snitching. So so here's the clique for Fannie Willis, her little clique. They were trying not to give Ashley what she was requesting, which is the public information, right? Okay, so Ashley decided to file a lawsuit against DA Willis, which is what we can all do when we are denied public records. You file a complaint with the Attorney General, then you can, whatever. So Fannie has been ordered to pay over $54,000. So yeah, give me my money. Yeah. So finally, there's some accountability, and I hope that Young Thug is somewhere in Miami, wherever he is, and he's like, Young Thug, this is just the beginning. Trust me, this is just the beginning. Karma, she's gonna get her karma. This is just the beginning because these people have been put on blast now. This has become a national thing. This is not just a clique in Georgia. It's not just that. This is a national thing now. So because it's a national thing now, people start paying attention and things have to be done right. Not how you want them to be done, but they have to be done right. Okay? By the book. So you want to bring attention and you don't even have your own house clean, so that's fine. But understand that people are going to be looking at what you do. And that's just, anybody knows that. So if anybody doesn't know that, remember, like, if you're going to be, like, if you go tell on something, right? Make sure that you are not doing the same thing or something just as bad. You know what I'm saying? That's like, you're being very hypocritical. You're doing something you don't have no right to be telling on somebody. And you're doing something or the same thing, or you just not, your house is not clean. You having an affair with the darn man that just so happens to be hired as a lead attorney in the prosecution of Donald Trump. And you thought that was okay? No, you are smart enough to know that was not appropriate. And I just want to keep saying this because I'm just wondering. I know that they're probably still looking into it, the commissioner and all that, but it is illegal. It's against the law to misappropriate federal funds. So just to put that out there. So if something has been misappropriated as far as federal funds, That's against the law. That's a felony, actually. So, yeah. Okay. So that's good. So we just want to give praise to the judge who held that trial, that hearing where Fanny's assistant, or the FOIA officer for the DA's office, he was up there speaking like it was, yo, oh my goodness. This man was talking like this was like he was like that he was in the right. I don't know why I look so weird. I'm not wearing any makeup or anything. He was looking so weird. He was really, really talking like everything was okay, that he didn't give Ashley what she was requesting. Ashley don't play. Ashley don't play. Ashley is no joke. I'm not a criminal, but if I was a criminal and I needed an attorney, I would want an attorney like Ashley. Is what I would want. Okay, so moving on to, and that's a big deal. We're gonna get into that. I want to do because it's a lot of people that has forgotten about the situation with Fannie Willis, because now Young Thug is, his trial is over. So they're not paying attention to what happened in the past, Fannie Willis and the team, and what's going on here in Atlanta. Nobody's paying attention anymore. But it's a lot of stuff going on still. There's a lot of stuff still going on. So I'm gonna do like a breakdown of beginning to now of what's been going on with Fannie and how she's corrupt, allegedly. I guess I'll say that because, yeah. Okay. So we were talking about also Mayor Kobe. Khalid Kamu. So he's the mayor of South Fulton, who took a trip, which was allegedly unauthorized. He took the city's credit card, took a trip to Africa, Paris, all this stuff. And city council was like, we didn't authorize you to do that. So he wasn't one of those that denied what he did. They saying he wasn't authorized to do that. So anyway, we talked about that. So you can check back on one of the other videos on that. But remember, the last live I did, we were talking about how this man was arrested a year ago. And I was like, what? What the heck is going on here? Okay. So I did look into that. The man was arrested for trespassing. And so what happened is, he was walking his dog, supposedly. He just so happened to end up on somebody's $1 million land, and he was looking in the windows, and the owner of the property came and called the police and held him at gunpoint. He didn't know who the heck he was, and so he called the police, and that's why he was arrested. Now, the whole thing sounds fishy, crazy to me, because number one, if you are on someone's property that you're not supposed to be on it, if you're not committing a crime like breaking in or whatever, if somebody tells you to leave their property, you're supposed to leave. And then if you stay on the property and don't leave, that's called trespassing, right? If you stay on private property after being told to leave. So for him to be arrested, that's something weird. I mean, like I said, Georgia, they try to create their own laws, but that's the way it's supposed to be. So I don't even see how the situation just weird. Did the owner say, get off my property, and the man say no because he's the mayor, and maybe he said, I'm not getting off anything. You don't talk to me like that. Or you know how these people are here. Oh, gosh. You know what? I don't even see why I'm still living in Georgia, because I'm probably the most angered Georgian in Georgia. I'm probably the most angered Georgian. How about that? Because these people make me so sick. It's the public officials that we pay our tax dollars to. They really make me sick. And the clicks too. It's not just that, it's the people in the higher positions. It's the people, honestly, anyway, let's not, it's the black people that have a little bit of authority. How about we'll say that have a little bit of authority. They weird. Anyway, on a fun note. So there is a rumor, I don't know if it's true, but it's a rumor that Tammy Rivera, which is a Georgia native, well, she's not a Georgia native. She's not originally from Atlanta, but she's been here long enough. But yeah, Tammy Rivera is pregnant. That is Waka Flocka's long time, uh, as Georgia folks call it, common law wife. How about that? Are they married? Because they did have a show where I think they actually got married. So I think they're legally married, but they had a breakup or something because I think Waka had cheated. I don't know. But I just know that I read an article that she was pregnant. So I think that's cute, because they're a little older, and that's cute. Actually, they don't have a child. She only had the child. She only had the daughter Charlie, but she actually, this will be their first child really together. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty neat. Like Tammy Rivera at her age, and Waka having a child. That's so pretty. That's gonna be so. Tammy Rivera is so cute. She's so pretty. But yeah, that's gonna be kind of neat. So I thought that was some real fun, cute news. Um, yeah, that's gonna be nice. So they're probably gonna have I guarantee you, there's probably gonna be another reality show that starts following her pregnancy and going through, Waka's whatever. Waka is a cool dude. He if you look at his mom, I don't know if y'all know anything about his mom, but I know a little bit about her before the reality shows because the reality just gives the impression that she's well, yeah, she don't take no stuff. I mean, she's a pretty strong woman, but she's actually very smart. She's smart. So, yeah. I mean, she's responsible for her son's career. Let me say that. So, that's a good thing. Oh, and what are we looking forward to here in TCG world? TCG family, we're looking forward to what's to start supposedly next month, which is what? What's starting next month? Anybody know what's starting next month? Um, what's starting is the Puffy trial. P. Diddy. P. Diddy, Puffy. Yeah, starting next month. So we're looking forward to that. And hey, Isaiah, I did not see you. Oh my gosh. Hey, how have you been? Isaiah is a supporter of this channel. Big up to you, Isaiah. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. That means a lot to have a supporter that comes in and who's been there since the channel started. We don't have a big channel yet, and we don't have much support. But Isaiah is definitely part of the family. Thank you, Isaiah. You're definitely part of the family. And don't worry, we're going to grow, Isaiah. We're going to grow. And yeah, we're going to get it together. So we're going to have more people other than Isaiah typing in the chat. One day, we're going to do it. Okay, so speaking of the P. Diddy trial and what's going on with P. Diddy. So everybody knows a few months ago, well, not a few months ago, probably like a month ago, the charges were dropped. The lawsuit was dropped against Jay-Z. That's a very big deal. Good for Jay-Z. Yay for Jay-Z. Because, woo, he was under fire. He was under fire. So, big up to Jay-Z. Not big up to Jay-Z, but yeah. The lawsuit was dropped. Nobody has said anything about why. Um, why did the supposedly victim drop the charges? I would like to know myself. The first thing I'm not gonna lie. The first thing I thought when I heard that the charges were dropped, the first thing that came to my mind was this man, this man or his people, his this man's people found this victim and paid her off. Because you talking about something from that long ago. Because I can imagine, like, if you're a victim of something like that, a violation like that, whether the person's caught, whether the person is in jail, whether they went to jail or whatever, whether they are alive or dead, whatever they are, it really doesn't matter. I think that the victim is probably always gonna feel the same feeling of violation. You know what I'm saying? The level of violation that is probably not gonna go away is what I'm thinking. So why would she drop the lawsuit? I'm thinking if you're paid a big sum of money, because see, some people, just like my dad, he used to tell me when we were younger, my dad was a very calm person. He was like very calm, he wasn't he wasn't a hysterical person. He wasn't, he was just a calm person. Even when people, were nasty, whatever, he just was calm. He handled stuff like behind the scene. He handled stuff in his own way. Like he would be at home on the telephone talking to corporate if it were that bad. That's the kind of person he was. And he used to tell us, like, um if somebody has done something, you get them where it hurts the most, which is their pockets. Get them in the pockets. So some people look at, like, if you have to pay me out of court, people some victims may say, well, they didn't get away with it. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't really. If you have to pay out of court, you didn't get away with it because I hurt you where it matters to most. You know what I'm saying? I hurt you in your pockets. So you didn't get away with nothing. So and I'm not saying that happened, of course. I don't know nothing about that. The female could have been, she could have been a liar, and she could have been trying to jump on the bandwagon with the rest of these folks that's accusing Puffy. However, let me tell you something. Just like with the situation with Puffy coming out, for many years, 50 Cent, all these folks have been saying Puffy was this way, this way. Puffy was doing this, talking about Puffy's parties. Everybody, it was a rumor, and all of a sudden now he's in jail. So, is there some truth? Can there be some truth if somebody keeps saying something? Can there be some truth to at some point? It's in some kind of way. What is this how is this person connected to this? Because I really think that situation with R. Kelly and Jay-Z, when they got into it during their tour, that was weird. But we don't know. Nobody knows but those two. Nobody knows but those two, because Jay-Z claimed that, well, what we heard, the public, what we heard is Jay-Z didn't like what R. Kelly was doing or the reputation he was getting, because that stuff was coming out or whatever. And so he was like, "No, I don't want to be on tour." So we were like, "Okay, big up to Jay-Z, right? He's standing up for victims or whatever." But we don't know what really occurred with that situation. Nobody knows. So yeah. So oh, before we go on, because this is really going to be a short live, I did want to say this. Okay, I just want to throw this out there because a lot of times people may think, well, a lot of times people may not understand where the passion comes from for why does April TCG, why does she have so much anger for public officials in Georgia? Why she act like is I don't I'm not one of those people that, blank the police. I'm not that person. However, I do hold people accountable. I don't care if you are an elected official. I don't care if you're the person I used to work for. I don't care if you are, I don't care who you are. People need to be held accountable for their actions. You know, we just grown folks. When you see grown folks acting like they don't know better, it really angers me. And I think it comes from me. Like I'm gonna tell y'all, you people that's a little younger and y'all probably at these places where you work and you just every day of your life you go into this place and you just want to spit at everybody. You want to spit on everybody, or you feel like that, you just feel angry. I'm talking about real anger. Like, you probably need to leave that environment because um you could always, it's just going to it's going to suck too much of your energy. It's going to suck too much of your energy that you have to put into when you leave that job. You know what I'm saying? You got home, you got your family, you got, whatever you like to do, your own personal stuff, that you deal with, whatever. It's going to take away from all that. The stuff that makes life that matters the most in life. You know what I'm saying? Your family, your children, your spouse, your parent, whatever you have that is important, the real important things. If you are miserable somewhere, it's going to take away. You can sit there and say, you know what, I'm going to get these 8 hours over with. Bam. Let me get professional. Oh, I hate this place. And you just hold, you go, when you walk in the door, you go, let's do it. And you clock in. And for a whole 8.5 hours, you are miserable, frustrated. You don't even want anybody to talk to you. You don't want to talk to anybody. And you just like, ugh. And you just really despise the place. You despise the environment, not the job you're doing. It's the people in that place. Like, just you probably need to find something else. You probably need to go elsewhere because they're stealing all your little happy energy, and they're gonna, like, you're not gonna have anything to give to your family, your children, or whatever you have outside of that job. So it's really not worth it. I'm a person that spent a long time, most of my adulthood, in a company, um and this is a company I despised it. I didn't despise, I'm honestly, when I used to, when I first started at this company, I was like, I like my work, because I heard people saying, oh, this is it, saying all these things, and I was like, dang, I just don't see that. I mean, it's so easy. It's like I was like, okay, this is good, okay, but then as I got in, like, it's just too much. The people just took over the atmosphere. I don't know how to even explain it or describe it, but the people took over the atmosphere and made it a miserable place. Like, I don't have anything against weed heads, but I don't want to work under no weed head. Like I just can't because like, being raised by a drill sergeant with that frame of mind, like, you know, what I'm saying, doing stuff right the first time, doing it on time. That's my frame of mind when it comes to my work ethic. So I cannot work under people who has like a something slow about their brain. You know what I'm saying? the, it's the truth. I just can't work under people like that because it's frustrating. It's frustrating. Or I can't work under people who never grew up from 10 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like they really, when they open their mouth, they sound like they're still 10 years old. So like, when you're 10 and you say things that really you shouldn't say, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like her shoes. Stuff that just don't matter when you get older. When you grown, it does not matter what somebody else is wearing, what it just that's not your business. Stuff that's just not your business. If you all in somebody else's business because you don't have a life, or because you're jealous, or because you want what they have deep inside, I don't know. Um, like that's you stuck in a teen like mind is what I think. You're stuck in like your high school days because probably you were one of those people that never had the gratification from others that you wanted. Not even from your family. You didn't have nobody showed you any special attention. What's up, Isaiah? Did you hear me give you a shout out? Nice to see you, buddy. Thank you for being a longtime supporter of the channel. I really appreciate it. There's an email. You can always contact me on my email address. Yeah, you can always contact me on my email. As a matter of fact, you know what, Isaiah? I'm going to make you, even though we don't have a lot of people in our chat, okay? We don't have a lot of people in our chat, but Isaiah, let's see. Look, you're actually a moderator. You're my first moderator for the channel. Isaiah, yay! Isaiah, Isaiah. Woo, woo, woo. I'm telling y'all, I love support. Support is not is everything. But yeah, so that place took so much out of me, and you know how it is when you have kids, right? You like when I started the company, I was, a single mom. I didn't leave a single mom, but I was a single mom when I started. So, I had the mentality of, okay, I'm going to stay here as long as I have to for the sake of, taking care of my family and stuff. So that's the kind of person I am and still is. I'll do what I need to do to take care of my family. Um, and when you're a single mom, it's like everything is on you. You know what I'm saying? You can't be like, "Ugh, I'm done with this, because you got that other half that's gonna have your back, you know what I'm saying. But I didn't have that. So I was like, I was like, yeah. So it just took so much out of me, and and the thing is, even though I'm no longer there, and I um, left it behind, and I didn't take nothing with me, y'all. Oh my God. It's the funniest thing when you leave a place that you've been at for over 20 years, no joke, and you don't even have no contact with anybody from the place. Something's wrong. Oh my God. I'm serious. Like, I don't. And I would not. I don't want nothing to remind me of that place. Like, I wish I would have left sooner than I did and not put so much into the place. But hey, you do what you have to do. So that's in the past. But I'm just telling y'all, if y'all are in a position where you feel like something is just sucking you dry, and it's taken away from the important things in life, like your children, family, whatever, do something else. Even if it means getting paid less, even if it means um changing careers, even if it means going back to school, doing some, whatever it needs to happen, make it happen, because you're going to sit there and you're going to be at a place miserable for 20 years. And you're not, when you finally leave, you're not going to even know who you are as a person. You're going to be, you can really lose yourself in those situations. You really can. So just remember, don't get sucked in that um, life of letting a job suck you dry. Don't do that. It's just not worth it. Find something that makes you a little more happy. Nobody, you got to get up and go to work. Nobody would really want to do that. Or, you just like, oh, but if you really like, you get up, you shower, you're up, you're looking cute, and you get to a place and you're like dreading to walk in there. You're like, oh my gosh, if I see, oh, really, you probably need to just find something else, because whew, my gosh, it's gonna it's gonna make you angry. It's gonna make you stereotype people. It's gonna make you angry, and it's gonna take away from, it's one thing when we work full time, right? When we work full time, it takes away from time with our family, right? So that's everybody. Any kind of job, whether you own a company, whatever, that you have to put time into it, right? So you can't control that. But if you're also miserable at the freaking place, like, so the little time, your valuable little 4 hours that you come home with, right? That you spend with your children or your family, whatever, or yourself, or say you get off, you're one of those people, get off work and you go to the gym, whatever you do, like, you are half stepping whatever you're doing for those little 4 hours after that place. If you're miserable the whole time you're there, you're not a whole person. You're like half of a person. So, like, as a parent or spouse or mate or just yourself, if you leave somewhere miserable every day for many many years, you are losing yourself. Really, you're losing yourself. There's nothing there. There's nothing inside of um the shell. It's, you just have a shell. It's nothing inside of you. You just really, it's just not worth it. So all you people that, especially you young people, you know, that's because I'm gonna tell you, when you're young, like in the 20s, you're like, that's if, those of us who want to be successful, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna climb this corporate ladder, I'm gonna do what I need to do, I'm gonna get these numbers, you're competitive, you're like, okay, let's do it, when you want something, right? I don't know if y'all, okay, so when you want something, you're competitive, and you want it, you go get it. But if you spend the time, put that energy towards something that's going to give back to you as well, not just money. You know what I'm saying? So something that makes you happy, put put that energy towards something that is more fulfilling than just getting that paycheck. You know what I'm saying? Even if it means like, because some people not made for the office. I mean, that's just the truth. People don't want to admit it. Some people's not made for the office. Some people are not made to be stuck in an office with other people. And if you're that type of person and you just making yourself go to that specific place just because of um, the status of the position or whatever it is, don't do that. Don't do it, because you're letting that place suck you dry. Now, like I said, I'm not talking about if you don't like, oh, she gets on my nerve. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if a place just, if you drive to a place and you sit in the parking lot in front of this place and mm, you just hate it. You don't even want to go in the doors. You really despise this place with your every being. Like, people that you see outside of the place, you like, okay, then something's wrong. That's not the place for you. It's really sucking you, it's sucking all your happiness out. And don't let anything do that. It's just not worth it. So, you young folks, you want to climb the corporate ladder, climb that corporate ladder, but give it to somewhere that's going to give back to you as well. Not just, the money. Give it to something that's going to make fulfill you as well. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm going to tell you something. I remember this one year. Now, this is probably one of the first things that um made me feel like, okay, this is how it is. You know what I'm saying? It just, like, on top of disliking the environment, wanting to go down there and put in complaints, whatever. Okay. On top of that, so say if like with most corporations, you have um, you have goals that you set, that the company sets. You have to reach these goals and numbers, right? So, and when you reach these numbers, and when you're high up there and you got the best numbers, right, you get rewarded by, like, they give you trips, or they give you like bonuses, all that. So the better your numbers, the higher your bonus, right? The end of the year bonus, whatever. Okay, so you have these different metrics, and those metrics, like, you are A. So, like, A, like in school, you're the grade A. So you like A plus in your metrics, right? Okay, so there's a position that comes available. It's a higher position, it's more money, and it's like, ooh, okay, is it that time? Right? Because you've met your metrics like 4 years in a row. You're like, okay, it's time for me to move up, right? Okay. So you put in for that. You just, and in your mind, you're confident, because you just know, you're like, okay, I qualify, right? You've proven to the company that you've got these high numbers in the metrics, right? So you say, okay, it's time for me to move on up. So you apply, and in an interview, I'm not kidding. In the interview, oh my goodness, these two men who interviewed me, one was one of the managers, and one was um like under the manager, but he was in charge of that particular, like, he would have been the person training that particular person. Okay, anyway, these two men, one of them was looking out his window. It was in the off, he's looking out his window as I'm talking, as I'm answering questions. He's looking out his window. The other one, he just had this attitude, like he just had a bad day or something. I don't know. They didn't even seem like they were interested. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, this, when you're excited going into something, you think you're gonna get something that's gonna build, that's a building block for you. You're happy. You're like, okay, pumped up. You like pump yourself up, and then you go in there with these two, ooh, and you're like, huh? And then you get an email, because you can kind of feel like, once you get a certain age, or not age, but once you go to enough interviews, you kind of can tell if your interview went well or not, right? That interview didn't go well. It did not go well. So I was already knowing, like, I didn't get this position. So anyway, yeah. So days later, I did get an email, and it was like, um, the email specifically said, we are looking for a person in this position that are meeting all the numbers in all the metrics. So not only was I meeting, keep in mind that this was my fourth year in a row of getting the top tier um, rewards for my metrics. So not only was I meeting the metrics, but I was actually exceeding the metric, the goals. So I did not understand. I was like, huh? That didn't make sense. The person that was over me at the time, they read the email. They were like, what? That doesn't make sense. So that person, they had been with the company much longer than me at the time. They went and talked to the person that was under the manager because they knew them, on a personal basis, whatever. So they went and talked to them. Do you know they came back and told me that that person said, oh my God, it was just so stupid. So that was that. And then a few days later, we had our little ceremony where, like, if you did exceed those metrics, those rewards that I was talking about, so you get, like, they announce it to, a crowd of people, and you walk up and you get your certifications and, whatever. So it felt very, let me tell you something, I'm not gonna lie, because this is the kind of person I am. I am one of those people that I can get a little boasty. I do. So because I was like, take it and shove it. So when they called my name up to the podium, I walked up there. I'm not kidding. I was like this. This is how I walked up there. I'll show you. Just for the simple fact that a few days before I had that darn interview, and they treated me like, um, you know, like, why is she wasting her time, right? Okay, so me, I was like this. I don't know if you can see me. I was like this. I walked up there, chest out. I was so proud. I was like, yeah, okay, right. And then, when everybody goes up there and everybody gets their rewards, we stand up there and take a group picture. I was like this. It was like a front row of us, and there was another back row of us. I was in the front row. I made sure that I stood out from the rest of the people. So I was like this. I had my hands right here on my side, just like this. I'm not kidding. And we were kind of squished in, but I was like this. And I had, so I guess I probably had a little bit of an attitude, but that's okay. But the thing is, like, the look on this manager's face, because this manager was one of those people, you know how you have people in the company that's really not in tune with what's really going on? He was that kind. So the look on his face when he saw me up there, me getting my stuff, this man was like, wait, I sent her an email saying we're looking for someone who meets all the metrics. I'm exceeding the metrics, mother sucker. I'm exceeding the metrics. So that email, you need to come better than that. What is it? What is it that you didn't like? What is it? Is it because y'all have a clique here in Georgia? Y'all have the clique, you know what I'm saying? Y'all have a clique, and I'm not in the clique because I'm not a follower. I'm not a follower. So I'm not in the cliques. I'm not in the church cliques. I'm not in the big mouth girl cliques. I'm not in the pro black girl club, thing. That's just not me. So I don't, I'm not a follower like that. Let's see. Right, Isaiah. Yeah, you got to do what's best for you. What do you, if you don't mind me asking, what type of, do you work in an office or out of an office? But yeah, you got to really just do what makes you happy, because you sitting there, um, like trying to follow in people's footsteps or doing what people say you're supposed to do. You really have to, and also the area matters too. Remember that. So if you don't be afraid to relocate, don't be afraid to relocate, especially you young folks that can pick up and relocate. Do not be afraid. Don't stay in the same area just because your friends are in that area or this is where most of your family is. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you need to relocate to be happy, relocate. Relocate, relocate, relocate. Don't stay in the same place trying to don't do that. Relocate. Do what makes you happy. That's all to it. Happiness is so important. You know, we got one life to live while we're on this earth. Like, live your best life. Be happy. That's all I'm saying. Cause I could talk all night about that company. Man, that company make me so sick. And then the thing is, like, I put all those years into that place that they just weren't worth my energy and time. So I remember I um when I was doing Instacart, this way long time afterwards, I was doing Instacart. People thought I was crazy. They were like, "What you doing that for? You don't have to do that. Why are you doing?" People were just like, I don't understand why people were thinking that it was something bad. It was amazing. It was great. It was great. Like like I told you, I have a strong work ethic, so it was great. So I know I was free. I didn't have to worry. I didn't have to deal with people's bullshit. It was just great. So what happened is, for some reason, I was deactivated. So they deactivated my account. Man, I was crying like a baby. The that night when my account was deactivated, I was crying like a baby. I'm talking about crying and tissue, tears running. And so my people that know me, they were like, "Why are you so hurt from that? It's just Instacart. You weren't even hurt when you resigned from that company you were with for almost 20 years. Why were you so hurt from because I was miserable at that company. Instacart was like a free thing, and it was just like a breath of fresh air, honestly. So that's why I was crying like that. But yeah, don't let something just suck yourself from life. Don't do that. It's just not worth it. So, and that's another thing too. Why people think that um Instacart, those things are so, why people put those things down? I don't know why people put those things down. There's a lot of money to be made in Instacarting. So I don't know why. Don't let people put whatever your hustle is, whatever your hustle is, don't let people put you down. If and even if you're not a hustler, because some people, if you work at McDonald's, okay, if you go to McDonald's and you like going to McDonald's, and you clock in, and whatever you like to do, whatever makes you happy, don't let people take you away from that. Don't let people mentally take you from what makes you happy, because what makes other people happy, it may not make you happy, because that company sure didn't make me happy at all. So if whatever you do, whatever you like doing, whatever makes you happy, do what makes you happy, because everybody's different. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't understand why, like, here in the South, it's a big, like, yes, we do have Southern hospitality, and we like love on each other as if we're family. So we do have that, but at the same time, we have also like people getting overstepping their boundaries. You know what I'm saying? So like, people get into your business too much. Like, people need to also mind their business. You know what I'm saying? Mind your business. And we are way off topic on government officials, but for real, people need to mind their business, because what makes you happy, it doesn't mean that that's going to make that person happy, or what you don't like, that person might like. It doesn't mean that what they like is wrong, because you know what I'm saying? Like, for some reason, here in the South, a lot of people think that because you see things differently, that the way you see it is wrong. Why people like that? That's called closed mind. You have a closed mind. So just because you have a closed mind does not mean that the next person has a closed mind, does not mean that what somebody else is doing is wrong. Just mind your business. If you're one of those, I'm gonna tell you, I was taking this stuff over to this older lady's house. Older lady. Okay. You know how it is when you get a new car, okay? This was back in September. I bought a brand new car back September of last year. I was taking this stuff over to this lady's house. This was a little street on the in front of her house. It was these big bushes that stuck out. So I didn't want to park my new car in front of, nowhere near those things. So I parked across the street. Boy, this lady, it was a black lady. She said, "Why you park over there? I ain't never seen nobody park over there and they coming over here." Oh my gosh. So I don't disrespect my elders or nothing, but I just kind of looked in her eyes because I was like, "Wait, that's my car, not yours. I can park down the street if I feel like walking up here." So, you know what I'm saying? It's all about just mind your business to a certain point. Gotta you gotta learn to just, if you and you gotta practice it. Those of you who are one of those people that's like you see something different than the way you would do it or the way you would wear it or whatever, and it just bothers you where you gotta open your big mouth. Like just start practicing minding your business and saying, "It's different. I wouldn't do it that way, but let me just practice getting it out of my mind." Practice. Start somewhere. Because y'all just make things a bit miserable. You know what I'm saying? You make it miserable. And then also weed heads. You know, what you do is your business. What you do is your business. You do your thing, that's your business. But don't bring your slow brain, your slow thinking around other people because like go around people that where that is anyway. Okay. I just because I it didn't mesh. Once I that's when I said, okay, it's time for me to be gone with this company. When they put me under a weed head, Vanessa H. They put me under that weed head. That girl, she was like, "Hey, what the Vanessa?" I was like, "Hell no! I will not. I will not be under no weed head. It's not happening. I'm not gonna be that frustrated every day." I used to date this person that was on. Now everybody, I guess, well, not everybody. I don't know because I don't smoke marijuana, but everybody reacts differently to marijuana. Um, some people though, when they smoke marijuana, they for some reason turn into like everything is slow motion. Like you say, "Can you pass me that?" They like, "Oh yeah, sure." It just seems like they're moving in slow motion. You know what I'm saying? And so for a person that is have a strong work ethic, and I'm like, okay, on time, do it right the first time, bam, bam. When you have that kind of work ethic, that other, slow takes a whole hour to do what you 10 of what you know what I'm saying. It's like that those don't mix. So just keep that in mind and just everybody needs to, just yeah, yeah. Okay. And then for those of you who, how about this? If you are in the higher positions and your job is to match people with the right supervisors or whatever, don't put on a team, a person with strong work ethic with people that probably go home and do their, smoke their joint. Don't do that because, or they're blunt. It seems like people that smoke joints, they're it affects them differently than blunts. I don't know, but don't do that. That's like you saying we don't like you and we want you to leave this company. That's what you're pretty much doing because that was it for me. That was it. But anyway, okay, enough about that. That's not what I came on for. I just wanted to come on and cheer. Give me my money. They made Fanny pay up, or they're making her pay up. So that's what we've been waiting for, but we have more. They need to take care of more. So we're expecting more. But yeah, I'm a do like a not a long video, but like a video and just recap everything so we can get up to date with how that came about, that she's having to pay that $54,000. So, yep. So that's it. I just wanted to come on and talk about Fannie Willis because that was a big deal. That's a big deal when we have somebody that is being held accountable. That's what it is. Is, you know, she's being held accountable in some way. So give me my money. That's what it is. So that's good. All right. Um so everybody have a great rest of your week. We've been trying to go live every Tuesday, 7 o'clock. That's our goal. That's a start. So we're gonna try to go live every Tuesday, 7 o'clock. When Puffy's trials start in April, we're gonna be probably going live more, or we're gonna have videos, probably like daily videos, because y'all know how I did the Young Thug trial. Like I covered it. I covered the Young Thug trial from like I put out stuff that the news is not going to talk about, the stuff that's probably not important to the news. So I was putting out detailed information like Woody. The stuff that I was putting out is stuff that, because I was paying close attention. So I had that, I was paying close attention. So I'm going to put out stuff that not everybody else is going to put out. Let me just say that. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already done so. Subscribe. Click on the notifications bell and like the video so we can grow and build our community, so we can have a chat and not just me and Isaiah talking. Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, everybody, thank you for watching. And again, my name is April, and my TCG fam, I am out. Peace. All right, have a good rest of your week. Don't let anybody stress you out either. Nobody.